with B-Bad and Brandon.
Welcome to the Platform Podcast. You know who we are, but we are joined by special guests.
What's up?
Oh, I didn't even introduce you yet. Well, this is...
Wait a
second.
That's okay.
Slow down.
That little what's up you heard just then was from our special guest. Her name is Zenia Wood. Welcome. Whoop, whoop. In the podcast, there'll be applause.
Yeah. Cool. Goes, whoa.
Love it.
Yeah, it does. Like, that guy goes wild.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
What's up?
Not much. How are you?
Good.
Surviving?
Yeah.
How's COVID?
Not really affecting me. It's actually
good?
Yeah. It's been good. Like, just to, I don't know, have some time to distance yourself from being in
the business and then actually working on the business?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just feel like I've decided to do like 5 more different avenues to my business, which is probably not helpful, but
I feel like in the
all at
long run it could be.
yeah.
But before we get any further,
Oh, here we go.
Joni's going to hit you with the most important question of your life.
Yep. And all you're going to have is 21 words to answer it. Mm-hmm. He's going to count all the words and all the sounds.
Look, fair chance I'll fuck it up, but we got it.
Sometimes we get it right. Who you are and what you do. Ready? Go.
Zenia Wood, exercise physiologist, strong, empowering coach, cat lover, tea drinker.
You're at 11.
Oh,
That's
12.
the sound. It's 12.
I'll just leave it there.
I'll just leave it there.
Why not?
I think that was 15. Maybe
15,
16.
yeah. We should do an average.
Actually, I'm adding a couple more words.
Well, you just blew out the 21 words. But I want to hear what this...
question.
I want... Next episode that comes out tomorrow, have a listen to the opening intro. It's so funny.
Probably the greatest one yet.
Well, it's definitely the greatest one yet.
I was going to add calisthenics, climber, lifter of heavy shit.
You really should have added that.
I know.
That would have been 21 exactly.
That could have been our best ever.
It could have been, and you fucked it. So, first topic. Why don't you drink coffee?
I do. I told you this. I
No,
didn't.
No, you don't. You don't.
Yeah.
You
What did
play
I...
around with the idea of drinking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
You're
for
20
everyone
with
in the room, what did I just order, Zenia?
Latte.
Well, what latte, though?
Tea.
No.
I don't know.
You don't know what a
It
chai
says
latte
cute.
is, do you?
Chai latte.
It wasn't coffee. That's
It fucking wasn't coffee, that's for sure.
He doesn't know any tea. Have you ever had tea?
I didn't like it.
it's
it
just
was
flavored
yuck.
water.
Yeah, I didn't. It tasted dirty.
But, like, I can... So, you mentioned tea drinker.
Yes.
Do you have a favourite tea?
Yes.
What's your favourite tea?
Chai tea, but specifically from T2.
What the fuck is the...
Chai tea has like all the spices.
Hold up. So, chai is just spice, eh?
Yeah, well, chai is technically, I think it's like Indian for tea. So you don't say,
drinking chilies.
like if you say I want
You're not-
chai in India, they'll just give you they'll give you tea, but all their tea has like heaps of different spices. You really like zoned out.
He's just like... He's like, it's not black, it's not got caffeine.
We didn't talk about coffee and this isn't weight, so I'm out.
This is too good. I feel like, Jace, if you could just quickly Google chai and what chai is, that'd be great. Anyways, so we've established that you don't drink coffee, and that's going to put a dent in this podcast already.
No, it's okay. But, you know,
We can move past it.
I'm getting some coffee.
Okay.
Yeah, we can just do shots of coffee.
Seriously, you probably don't want to see me on coffee. I feel like I'd be very antsy.
No, you'd be right. Have you met us? It'd be fine. You'd fit in well.
Yup.
This guy has like 4 shots before he gets out of bed.
Yeah, that's a worry.
Yeah, I'm in 4 already.
Yeah. Have you like checked your liver function and?
Okay, so
Adrenals?
actually, no, let's
Oh no!
we'll talk Paul. We all know Paul Pegler. Yeah, and everyone probably listening now knows Paul Pegler because he's been on 3 episodes.
Shout out.
I think it is 3. Yeah, shout out Paul.
He's done 3. Yeah.
Yeah, but so he has to have a coffee first thing in the morning. That doesn't count towards his daily coffee limit because they call it a public service for obviously the public because he's just an absolute cranky motherfucker without coffee first thing in the morning, which I think is fair.
That's good.
Yeah, like, I mean, I can understand that. I'm actually really into like percolated coffee at the moment.
So you're a coffee snob.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm a tea snob, so it's fine.
Yeah, but like, I like tea, just not to the level you like tea. And coffee's way better.
That's okay.
I don't know how you're not drinking it. I'm only into percolator, I just want to say, because I'm really into making tiramisus at the moment.
The reason that I started drinking a little bit of coffee was because of, this is my nerd in me, I read all the research that's like coffee's good for performance. So I was like, oh, I should probably try it.
So, okay. Okay, let's run with that. This is good. So you read the research that caffeine is good
for performance. Well,
so why do you only have it twice a week? I'm sure assuming
You only want to perform twice a week.
No, I don't know. I'm just not fully invested yet. I don't want to become addicted to it, and I don't even have a great reason why.
Do you like the taste of it?
Nah. That's why I have
neither do
like
I.
vanilla, sugars, like
Yeah.
it's sweet as fuck. I literally go to the coffee shop and I go, I don't know what I want, just make it not taste like coffee. And they look at me like, this bitch. But now my place that I go to, like they
just know you.
And they're like, yeah, cool, here's your
Do you
like
go there twice a week?
probably. They're next to the gym.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good segue. So where do you work?
I work in a one-off S&C gym in Coopero, Brisbane.
Cool. And what do you do there?
Well, exercise physiology. So I guess a lot of people sort of are like, oh, do you do personal training as well? And I'm like, oh, well, I mean, like I'm a very overqualified PT. But like to me, it's like all one and the same. Like I talk to people and they're like, oh, but you're a, exercise physiologist and a trainer. And I'm like, no, it's the same thing. Like you come and you see me. It's not you come and I give you a fraction of what I do for a job as a service. Like it's all
kind of meshed.
Yeah, like I can't separate the two because I don't know, you were talking about before this corrective exercise. And it was just in terms
segues left, right, and center. I know.
I've done this before.
This is my first time.
But yeah, we're talking about corrective exercise, and like the biggest thing to understand is that there is no like best corrective exercise, because like moving well with technique, execution, targeted to your goals is going to get you the best corrective exercise and get you out of rehab. Like it's that simple. Like doing your little, I don't know, banded TheraBand external rotation bullshit isn't going to help you when you're under a 200 kilo squat bar.
Thank you for saying that. And that's the end of the podcast. That's everything we pretty much needed to touch on. Nailed it well.
So who are you working with? Who's coming to see you? Broken people?
Clients? Yeah. So I have a pretty diverse range of people, but they generally come to me initially because they're injured or struggling to perform in whatever activity that they're doing because of pain or restriction or injury. And then they continue on, like I was saying, I guess it's a spectrum from rehab through to performance, it's just how in the intensity of that. So I guess so I've trained like people all the way from just like general mum and dad who just want to get fit and do it like quote unquote the right way, which still sort of irks me a little bit because
I feel like you just had a seizure during the way you said that.
Well, the right way is squat, bench and deadlift.
With squat suits, of course.
Yeah, in a suit, yeah.
Yeah, well,
and wraps.
It's like technique there's no such thing as correct technique. There's technique, execution towards the outcome that you're trying to achieve.
100%. I agree with that.
So like if I was to say to you as like a powerlifting coach, like what's the best technique for a squat, you're probably going to come at it from your lens of powerlifting and go vertical shins, low bar as much as you can, and just like to get the most weight.
I probably wouldn't go vertical shins. I don't believe in vertical shins, but I do believe in like obviously a low bar squat to get the most weight, and then obviously a more hip dominant squat.
Totally.
But 100% agree with what you're saying. Like what we describe as, I think this could be our coffees.
Oh shit, yeah. Jason.
Give
that man.
Yeah, it's on its way.
There we go.
It's not here
Give
yet.
Paulina a moment to leave your door.
Oh.
Okay. So just for everyone listening, that little interruptions. we like to bring our guests coffee, and we're just not going to tell our next guest that because there's 3 of them, and that's going to cost too much.
Yeah, sorry, boys.
Because there's no money in podcasts. And if there is, someone please tell us how. But yeah, no, so that's a really good point because there is no correct there's no perfect technique. I think there's no perfect way to do it. There's no one way to do anything. And it's just going to be, what determines whoever you see, coach, clinician, whatever, their technique is going to be derived from their experience, their education, their research, and their understanding of all those principles.
But also, hopefully, based on what the client wants.
100%.
Like,
it's got to be client-orientated and outcome-focused.
So, like, if you're then training a bodybuilder, and then your version of a perfect squat or whatever is a powerlifting version, like that's not suited to their goals because their goal might be to build quad size, and therefore they probably need like a front racked, like heel elevated squat, and that's correct for them.
There's so many other ways. I actually did a post about this recently. Just want to shout out myself, but
epic coaching.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro. Thank you. You make a really good point. It's like if you worked with Alicia Gowans, if I'm correct. She's a fucking gotta watch the language, but world-class bodybuilder. You're not going to treat her, if that's her goal at the moment, you're not going to get her to low bar back squat up to 1 RM.
Exactly. Yeah.
We just nailed this podcast.
So good.
So what got you into it? What got you into exercise physiology?
I actually didn't know it existed until I was already in uni.
What were you doing?
I was doing exercise science. And at the end of our first year, they're like, oh, look, there's this other like stream that you could do. And I sort of looked at that, and it was, in my eyes, a tack on to the degree. Like I didn't feel I was losing anything by just staying in the sports science stream, and I was gaining rehab experience and exposure. So I had, in my eyes, a broader demographic that I can work with.
Yeah, good.
So it made perfect sense because it wasn't extra time on my degree, because I was like 4 years in and out. Like I'll do honours, I'll do a major or whatever. I just don't want to be here for longer than I have to. Which is ironic because now I just like research all the time just for shits and giggles.
Yeah, well, it's not. Shits and giggles is a loose term. I mean, you do run Swift Movement Academy, which is your own business.
Yes.
Now, is it Swift? Like, it's different sections, or is it all under Swift?
Everything's under.
And why is it called Swift?
I knew you were going to ask me this.
Oh, what do you mean? I think it's a good question. Does everybody want to know why it's called Swift? Johnny wants to know.
Do you actually know?
No, I would like to know.
Okay, so I may or may not.
Very fast.
Well, see, that's what I lead the people to believe. But people who know me just a little bit better know that it's because I'm mildly obsessed with Taylor Swift.
Mildly? Will you say mildly?
Mildly.
Look,
what's mild? Like what is mildly? What does that cover?
Well, look, I mean, I named my business after her, so it's not really that mild.
Are we sure? Yeah, I don't think it's mild.
Now,
you met Tay.
I've held her hand and talked at her.
Wow.
When she was walking through the crowd.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wait, you held her hand?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's sick.
Yeah. And I've talked to her mum.
What?
Yeah.
And her mum?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So
how'd you get to talking to her mum?
So one year, she was just walking through the crowd, and I was like, "Oh my god, you're my idol!" And then the next year, we were standing right next to the barrier, and her mum was just over the barrier, and her mum's the one who gets you into the backstage stuff. And I tapped her mum on the shoulder. I reached over the barrier and tapped her on the shoulder, and I was like, "You've raised such a beautiful daughter." And she said, then Taylor Swift's mum goes to me, "You're beautiful," and I was like, "Oh
my god!"
And that's why you didn't get to meet Taylor, because you just couldn't move after that compliment.
I was done.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn.
That's sick.
And then the last concert, I actually took one of my Swift merch tees and gave it to one of the backup dancers and give this to Taylor. So maybe she's secretly following me on Instagram. Fingers crossed.
Oh, she probably wears the shirt.
Yeah, I reckon.
Wait. Sorry.
Regular cycle.
You gave her a shirt of her own concert.
No, I gave her a Swift Movement Academy
tag.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I got so confused. Why? When you said Swift merchandise, I was like, so you just gave her own shirt from the concert?
I bought it just because I wasn't sure if she could afford it,
Okay, now we're just sorting out. One of them's a chai latte. What's that? Chai latte? All right, Jace, just come in.
Did you enjoy her documentary on Netflix?
I did. I watched it for the second time.
Mine's
the
one
weekend.
with the sugar in it.
Thank you.
The second time.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
That's awesome.
It's actually really good. It touches on some like very important political topics and
Yep.
like actually like her issues with previous eating disorders and
Yep.
I didn't know you.
weight and things like that.
Johnny didn't tell me you were coming, Bob.
Do I come to every podcast?
No, you've missed a couple.
No.
Yes, you have. You did.
Damn, man.
Anyways, you weren't there for Runa. Exactly.
So, when did you finish study?
2014.
Yeah, okay. It's just a little bit ago now.
Yeah, just a couple years.
Sweet. Was that swift movement straight off the bat?
No. So I worked for another company for about 4 years.
Yep.
And I guess it was kind of a bit pivotal in the company that I chose because I actually got offered another position before this one, but I was going through their like I guess more extensive interview process where they like brought you in and showed you what the go was, and this other company like needed someone immediately because there was someone who'd left and then someone else had to leave or something, and they're like, oh, we'll let you know. It was a Thursday, the interview. They're like, oh, we'll let you know on Saturday and you can start on Monday. And I was like, oh my god, okay. And then I just had a feeling, side note, always mention that you're good at baking if you want to get a job, because people's eyes light up and they're like, we want her.
Actually, that's a very good point.
And you know how to make tiramisu?
There
I
you
do.
go.
Yeah. Look, it has been.
Not that I needed. I
You
mean,
want-
I don't need a job, so
You don't need a job, but
I've got one.
would you like some tiramisu? Do you
Well,
eat?
it's
If you
it's
say it's
coffee.
got coffee in it,
look, no, I will definitely have some. I'm a dessert person.
yeah, I know. Didn't you do a shred and then there's a photo outside of a donut place?
Yeah, I did. I gained my like 5 kilos that I lost in a weekend.
That's not even mad. I'm kind of impressed.
I mean, the fact that I can. So I was 5 kilos less than I am now, which is like I think probably borderline not okay. But that I learnt some shit from that.
Yeah, you did.
That's
That was a strong coffee.
Where were we at?
We were
That
talking
was a
about
tangent.
we were talking about baking and how.
Oh no, yeah. So
Yeah.
this guy was saying that he, was potentially like if he was going to hire me, he'd call me, and then so I called the guy who owned the other company who I wanted to work for, and I just called him up without having any preconceived notion of the other job, and was like, "Yo, I've just been offered another position. I'd prefer to work for you, but you need to let me know right now if you're going to hire me or not, because otherwise, like, I don't want to
Yeah.
be shot in the foot twice." And he was like, yeah, no, we want you. Like, we'll sign the paperwork on Monday. I was like, awesome, cool. And that's how I...
But when did you tell him that you were baking?
This was the other job.
Right.
So then he called me the next day and he's like, oh, I've got some great news. Like, we want you. And I was like, I got a job in the last 12 hours. Sorry.
And I was baking at the time.
Yeah, and I baked biscuits for him too.
Yeah, just like
You missed out.
I'm really
good.
stuck on like, what do you bake?
A lot of it's like protein-based stuff. Like, I'm not a great... Like, I'm not like on, the Great Bake Off, obviously.
Fuck is the Great Bake?
What? You don't know the Great Bake Off?
No.
Dude, man, get on it. They have like a baking contest.
Your tiramisu could...
You could be on
do
it.
Look, I only know how to make one dish. Actually, I know how to make chocolate cake as well.
That's how it starts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
thank
mean,
you.
like, I'm not fantastic at baking, but like, if you just say that's one of your hobbies, then they're like, oh, you can try your baking on us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
see, that doesn't
Bam.
work for me. I'm
Job.
self-employed.
Yeah, me too now.
Oh, yeah.
So,
It's like,
this
my
was
boss
like-
is a wanker
like,
anyway.
I don't.
And
yeah.
probably no
I say
desire
that-
to work for anyone ever again.
Yeah, but how funny is that when you
I say that to people all the time. I'm like, oh my god, my boss is such a bitch, and she like follows me home from work. People
That's
are
actually
like,
really funny.
Bet your boss works you hard too.
Yeah, she's fucking
You know
doesn't.
what?
No days off. Never
Yeah.
give up.
I never get holiday vacation. Like, what the
I
hell?
don't get paid no leave.
Yeah, what's this shit? I don't get sick leave.
Yeah, no.
I need a union.
We need to start a union for myself because I'm a fucking tyrant. Okay.
But working for yourself is great.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I feel like we should just interject here and be like, side note, wouldn't have it any other way.
Yes, would prefer to shoot myself in the foot than work a 9 to 5.
Damn, yeah.
Yeah. So
Literally, like I reckon I'd do great at
what was
the
the last
Paralympics.
9 to 5 job you had?
Literally never in my life.
Really?
Yeah, I worked at Baskin Robbins for a summer. Shout out, me and Obama, same business. It's true. His first job was Baskin Robbins too. Like,
Wow.
Yeah.
You going to run this show? You're going to take this country over?
I literally thought she was going to say, like, I worked with Obama. It was just a shout out to my boy Obama.
Yeah, no big deal.
It is. That's what I said. You didn't hear it.
Oh.
You need to rewind.
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, and then I worked at Rebel Sport throughout uni, and basically like just took over the whole footwear section. And I was like, look, I'm gonna work. They're like, oh, you should work in clothing, and I was like, oh, I'd prefer to be in footwear. And I had no idea why I said that. I was just like, had my like literally anatomy textbook under my hand. I was like, I'm about to go to the gaff lab and like dissect some humans. And they're like, we think we'll put you in footwear. And I was like, awesome. And then from then on, everyone who they hired in footwear was an exercise scientist.
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, because it's like you'd biomechanically need to assess people for footwear to check like
That's actually
angles
really
of it.
smart
Yeah.
from Rebel Sport. Yeah, that's actually...
Yeah.
Damn. Super
So-
clever.
Yeah. I thought so.
So you were studying at that time and then you graduated and you're just like,
He just spilled the coffee, sorry.
the gym's not even open yet. Jason.
Just clean this place up, bro. Come
Hiding
on, you were
in the
here. Damn.
Okay, so left Rebel, got to uni, and straight out of that, you've just been working for yourself ever since.
No.
Okay,
So
no?
I worked for, remember how I said I called up the dude and was like, hire me
Yeah.
or else,
Sick.
kind of. Yeah.
Or else.
And it wasn't or else. It was like, or else you'll lose me. And I'm great. So,
Or else you lose my baking.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, so there...
So I was there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then just Swift started off the back of that.
No brainer to jump into Swift? Was that something you always thought about doing?
I actually always joked in uni that if I ever had my own business, I'd call it Swift Movement. And all my friends were like, Zenia, no, don't do it. And I was like, what? And then when I did it, I literally got like 30 messages from my friends being like, are you fucking serious? And I was like, yes, motherfuckers.
Joke's on you, bitches.
I'm like, look where we are now.
Yeah. I'm winning.
Yeah.
That's so great. I love the fact, and I love bringing it up all the time, that you named your business after Taylor Swift.
I can't believe you didn't figure it out sooner. I'm actually quite
I know. So
disappointed in you.
Zenia and I have known each other through, we've known each other for ages,
Yeah.
and then met through the pre-script course.
Yeah.
And then because Zenia is really smart, she helped me through that course a lot. Some of those anatomy questions, I'm like, oh, wow, Jordan, yep, sick. But yeah, I just didn't put it together. But now it makes sense looking at your Instagram with all the like Taylor Swift quotes and song lyrics that you post. I'm like, of course.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's
But
right.
I mean, I would have gone down the route of that. Yeah, Swift, you're just really fast.
Yeah. But yeah, it works.
It does.
So that's why I wanted it, because it's like people who don't
Do you
know
tell
me.
people that straight away though?
Nah.
Or it's just like,
I wait, and generally they'll be like, so I was just wondering.
are you that fast? And then you're like, oh, look, no. Awkward story.
Yeah.
Okay, so working with clients now, we touched on it briefly, and I wanted to get you in and talk about corrective exercise, because there's a lot of crossover between the ex-phys and now there's a lot of strength coaches trying to replicate what ex-physios do. Mm-hmm. And they're missing the boat a little bit because
Because they're not ex-physios.
Well, that's actually...
They're not qualified.
Well,
Stop it.
again,
8-week
we can
course
just wrap
doesn't get
up here. What'd you say?
8-week course isn't
Oh.
the same.
I thought you said A equals force. And I was like...
I don't know, does it?
F equals MA?
Yeah.
Force. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah.
you're missing 2 letters. But
Science.
yeah, physics. I'm a physics teacher. That's actually literally like me trying to teach physics just because I understand force is equal to mass times acceleration. It's the same thing with a strength coach, fucking thinking they're ex-physics. Now, we this is my thing. And I'm going to get you to explain corrective exercise more because obviously it's not my lane. But we need to understand the purpose of corrective exercise to implement it along with a ex-phys. So if, say, I refer a client to yourself, they've injured their elbow. Say they got fucking tennis elbow overuse, whatever, misuse. We need to have an understanding of what you're doing with the client.
Totally.
And there are things that like I know I can implement to help them before they see you, but once you take the reins for that initial period and you implement all these corrective exercises. Let's start with what is corrective exercise?
Yeah. It's funny because like as much as I work in the rehab world, I really don't like the terms like rehab and corrective exercise because like I said before, like I just think that effectively programmed resistance training is going to be
Is the best.
rehab.
Yep.
Like, obviously, not getting injured in the first place is the best place to be. But in lieu of that, because people are going to push the limits and they're going to get injured because injuries are a part of life. And if anyone says that they've never felt pain or an injury, they're lying. Then,
Or they're just weak.
or they haven't done anything
Yeah.
significant in their life to actually warrant any sort of load.
Yeah, I
But like,
can we get a burn? No, are you alive? Can we get like a burn? Yes. He's that audio guy.
sick. Love it.
But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so, I mean, I don't necessarily like the term correct. Obviously, there are different things that we do versus a strength coach or a whatever, S&C, PT, whatever. But, like, when I take someone on, like, say you sent me a client, I'd be like, cool, I'm not a powerlifter. If they're prepping for that, you still need to be in control of that. But I need to know exactly what's going on. And I need to know the exact loads and quantities and rep ranges and weights that's happening so that I can either work with you and integrate what they need with what they want. Or if someone just comes to me off the street and they're like, oh, I've injured this, I'm like, I will not take someone on unless I can take control of their entire exercise week. Like
100%.
from running through to like playing basketball with the kids through to what they do in the gym. Like it all matters. And if you're just going to give someone like, oh, here's your like 3 corrective exercises, do them every day with your fucking TheraBand and then go and do whatever the hell you want in the gym. It's like, it's not
It's not going to help anyone.
that's just negligent,
Yeah,
really.
100%. And it is negligent because you're not taking, the outcome into play or mind. And then I forgot my other thing. That's such a good point.
Not good.
It's
Well, I was going to tack onto that. I think a lot of like passive or like conventional old school therapists, regardless of what their title is, do that. They go, cool, awesome, you're a runner and you do some weights, but I'm going to give you these 3 exercises. Go and do those, but continue doing all the other shit, which was the reason you injured yourself in the first place. And it's like, if that isn't addressed, then you're just Band-Aid fixing it anyway. And then it feeds this cycle of reliance on a practitioner, which I'm trying to, I guess, rework my vision, if you want to call it that, in terms of giving people the tools to be able to self-manage their own injuries. Which I think, there's opportunities for that for sure, but everyone should be able to self-manage if they're willing to understand the load versus the tissue tolerance and mitigate the risk as much as possible.
Yeah, 100%. Because you touched on it, like a lot of old school practitioners, like physios, they just look at the site of injury. They just look at the symptoms. Like this pain here, let's just look here. They don't look beyond that.
And I think to a degree, sometimes, like 100%, you cannot just look at the symptoms, and that's what frustrates me a lot because people will be like, oh, low back pain, and I get someone in and the first thing I do is like, all right, let's test your knee to wall. Like, can you actually get your knees over your toes? Because if you're going to squat, you need ideally at least 10 centimeters knee over toe range. And if they are like at 3, I'm like, well, that's why your back's fucked, because you don't have range of the ankle, so it feeds up into the chain. I think sometimes it is useful to, and even more so from like a psychological standpoint from a client, if they're like, my back's fucked, and you like look at their ankle, they're like, you didn't listen to me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't.
It's all.
So you have to play into that a little bit.
It's you bring up a good point because, and I think we've touched on this probably. I think we touched on it in the panel we did with Jordo and Paul. But there's a human attached to this injury, and I think you made a post about it.
Literally like yesterday, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's a human being attached to it. We kind of have to meet. We got to meet them on their expectation of what they want, but we also need to be mindful of what they need, and they're 2 very different things.
But I think you can also educate people on that because people, it's just like how ice isn't going to help with injuries. Like people, like I say that and people are like, oh my God, what? Or I say like, stretching doesn't reduce your injury risk. And people look at me like I've just told them like the earth is flat. Like it's...
Yeah. That's our next guest.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love
45
it.
minutes early.
Sick.
Say an hour and 45 minutes.
45. So I guess a good question. We could ask the same question we asked the boys.
Yeah.
So we asked Jordan Shallow and Pegler and Gwen Johnson, is injury prevention real?
And see, we are going to ask you as well because I don't think they actually answered it.
No, we got an hour out of them.
We had 2 hours, and I'm still not sure they actually answered.
I think if your sole purpose is to prevent injuries, you're also not performing.
Oh, that's
Oh,
Well, like,
yes. That's actually that is a sick.
you're boring.
well, like if you and even then, like
We're putting that on the back of the shirt, by the way. That was a sick quote.
Thank you. But even then, like your grandma who's not doing anything and just walking around, she's probably still injured. Like you just, it's a fact of life that we are going to injure ourselves or experience pain or whatnot, whether you fucking trip over the tiles or you back squat more than you're capable of. You know, like it doesn't matter what your
when you're
modality
pushing the envelope,
is.
when you're pushing the envelope of anything, whether that's sitting on the couch for too fucking long or squatting 400 plus kilos, like injury's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Something's gonna give.
But our body's really smart, and we've got a lot of capacity to adapt to whatever we put it through. And like I always say, like when I get my hair done, like I sit in the hairdresser's salon for like 4 hours, and I feel fucking horrible when I stand up because you're looking at me very.
Yeah, me and Johnny were like 4 hours.
Yeah, but I do it like
A lot of
once
hair
a-
back there, bro.
But I get it like bleached and coloured, and it takes a while.
This is
Anyway,
actually probably the least amount of colour I've seen.
I
in
know
your
I'm
hair.
getting it done in like 2 weeks.
What colour?
Like a pinky purple.
Ooh, the whole thing?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah. But like sitting down for 4 hours, I feel fucking horrible. And then I stand up, I'm like, oh my God, people do this for 20 years? Are you fucking kidding me? Like,
Yeah, that's fucked.
it's ridiculous. And people are like, oh, why am I feeling sore? And I'm like, well, maybe because you haven't moved for 8 hours for 5 days of the week for 20 years. Like, your body's adapted to be okay with that. And you try to do literally anything else, and it's not
Yeah.
going to cope with
It's
it.
got real good at sitting.
Yeah, you fucking nailed that. 90-degree sitting angle.
I love it though because then it's those same people that will get certain injuries and like because they go to the gym, they're like,
And then
"Alright."
blame the gym.
Yeah.
Oh, that was what my post was about.
Oh, I didn't read
Blaming the
most.
gym?
I didn't read all of it.
I was like,
It's always the gym's fault.
yeah, no, I literally wrote a post and I titled it, "This exercise broke me," as obviously like a bit of like, oh, what's she gonna say?
Yeah.
And then I was
literally because I was like, what do you mean? She's doing an RDL.
exactly, but like that's where I felt the pain.
Yep.
Because of a whole lot of other factors of nutrition and sleep quality was poor, and I didn't warm up properly, and it was my first set, and I decided to go heavier, and I tempoed it, so a combination of a shitstorm. But like anyone else looking at that would just be like, yeah, it was don't do RDLs. RDLs are bad. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's not like human. You can't isolate one specific injury based on one incident, no matter what it is, unless you get like clubbed over the back of the head.
Yeah. Unless
then
you've
you
actually
can
been
probably-
physically beaten.
Yeah.
Probably the club's fault then. Yeah.
Yeah, then it's definitely the club's fault.
Or just never leave your house. Like that would probably.
Yeah, let's
be-
just all live in our house and
be boring.
not do anything and be boring and not perform.
Yeah.
I
But
was trying to be savage was what you said before, but I forgot it a little bit. We're gonna rewind and put that.
I'm
on
gonna
the show.
use it. I'm gonna take
That's
some time with it.
Was that the first time you said it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh fuck! There you go. We're pioneers,
We're putting it on a shirt.
100%. But it's like you got this school of ideas, you know, corrective exercise, and going back to that to prevent injury, and a lot of people think corrective exercise can just fix your technique, but it's like
Still got to fix the technique.
The technique. Doing better technique fixes your technique, bro.
Yeah, like I feel like this podcast is just a lot of me getting my frustrations out, to be honest. But
We can hug later.
we need to hug. But it's like corrective exercise is not going to fix your technique. Your sore elbow, and just because you add in some corrective exercise, it's not going to fix the way you shitty bench.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
Just bench better. but also do other shit external to bench that is loaded, unilateral, overhead, full range of motion exercises.
But that's too hard.
Or get injured.
Or get injured.
And then
then
realize,
About being injured and blame the bench.
Yeah, that's bench press's fault.
I really like how we've segued that into like people just blame those things though. It's just frustrating. It's like, look at your life. Do you just do one thing in your life or do you do multiple things?
Yeah.
This is like a therapy session for me. I really feel like that. Even though you're our guest, it's like you're just coaching me through this. It's really helpful. I got to admit.
You're welcome.
Bloody people.
So these would have to be some pretty big frustrations you see as a therapist or...
Yeah, I just feel like I have to unlearn all these bad habits that have been ingrained into people and teach them and coach them that movement's okay and you know, there's no specific movement that's the devil. And like I literally have people come to me and they're like, oh, I just want to do like exercise, but I just want to do it with like correct technique because I'm really worried. And I'm like, like, if I'm honest, there's no such thing as correct technique, so I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I can coach you to move well in multiple ways and target specific areas of deficiency that you have in terms of like core stability or, you know, thoracic extension or whatever, but like, it just needs to be targeted towards an outcome. There's no such like, oh, this is the correct technique and therefore anything external to that is like lesser.
It does come from education, like what you're doing with the Swift Movement Academy. Is that a different branch of...
No, so Swift Coaches Academy.
Swift Coach, okay,
Yeah.
I knew there was a difference.
Yeah. It's very similar.
You keep me on my toes, I'll tell you what. So you've started that, which is a good segue.
Yes.
And what's that aimed at?
So that's for anyone who deals with movement, exercise, and is a coach or health professional. Mm-hmm. So I think, you know, there's a lot of people who are trying to get into effectively exercise physiology from their osteo degree or they're a personal trainer or they're a physio or whatever. And like, this is my jam and this is my bread and butter. And I've spent 4 years plus another 6 working in the field, like teaching people how to move. And then you get other professions. And like, I totally support it because it is the way forward. But I think there needs to be a little bit more education before people they sort of dabble in a corrective exercise or whatever. But again, it's not addressing like the person's entire week and how's that programmed and how's that periodized and what are you going to do in 3 months from now.
So it's just pretty much all on educating coaches and clinicians and health.
Yeah, so the platform is designed for coaches to interact with each other. I think it's really, really lacking, and especially where I think the industry is going in terms of being more contractor based as opposed to working for someone else. There's a lot of people working for themselves, but they still want that flexibility, but then they still want that support of a community. So that's what this Coaches Academy is a part of, and then off that I'll actually be releasing like a coach's like mentorship, which will be education based mentoring for a select few within that group who are ready to like next level their coaching and understand the principles behind this and want that greater knowledge, I guess.
Cool, that's awesome. And where, like, for anyone listening who's a coach, clinician, health professional, or someone who just wants to understand themselves more, how can they reach out and get in touch with you?
So my Instagram's probably or everything's the same. Instagram, YouTube, website, Facebook. It's all just under Swift Movement Academy. And to get into the Facebook group, if you are a coach of movement, through my Instagram bio link, the first thing is like the Coaches Academy, and it's free, and it's just I post up sort of like hot topics every week about specific things like what is butt wink? Is it real? Is it important? Do we care about technique? And then it's actually really awesome because there are some freaking phenomenal coaches within that, and I can just almost like sit back and just watch the comments come in, and people have such good like thought-provoking discussions, and they'll respectfully call each other out and say, hey, have you thought of this, and what about this? And I freaking love it. Like, that's what I froth on.
And that's where people are going to learn most. Just from having a discussion.
Exactly.
Respectfully as well. That's why I don't comment. No, I'm just kidding. Respectfully, and so we can understand ideas and other perspectives and see people's ideas through other lenses.
Exactly. And that's why I think that I didn't want it to be like specifically only for PTs or only for strength coaches or only for, allied health professionals, because we're all trying to work in this space and we all know that exercise and movement are beneficial and we're all navigating it. We all come from different angles. I think that, we can all learn from each other
100%.
In a sense. And I think that having that broader spectrum and that really helps to understand and identify different areas.
That's awesome.
And that's a big goal of Swift Movement Academy moving forward, to grow into that education space.
100%. Yeah.
I guess change coaches and everyone else out there.
Yeah, I think I've got to this point now where like in a week I'll only, my max clients I'll take on is per week that I have will be 34. So that's my number. Anything above that, I know that with everything else that I've got going on, I can't provide them the best service. So my next thing to that, I can only help 34 people a week. And I feel like that's frustrating because I want to be able to help more than that. And if I can help that's my like one-on-one, that is face-to-face stuff. And if I can help, even just 34 coaches or 100, whatever it is, then I can
to have more of a meta impact.
10x that.
If you can influence one person who has a group of 10 around them.
100%.
You just influence 11 people.
Yeah. And I think that's the progression, right? Like you go through the trenches, you do the work. And I'm not saying that I'm stepping out of this or that by any means I'm like the expert in exercise physiology, but I think that, you get to this point where you just want to be able to help more people and you can't keep doing that by just adding more and more client sessions.
No, because quality drops off. Learned that the hard way.
Yeah.
I think we all have.
Yeah. 5 a.m. starts, 8 p.m. finishes. Oh. No thanks.
The only person I know who can just do 5 a.m. starts is that guy right there.
Yeah, but it's after 4 triple shots, isn't it?
Yeah, but
Good
That
get that
doesn't
coffee
count.
rolling.
I just don't know. The day I said no to 5 a.m. sessions was the day
Your
I got
life
my
changed.
life back, and my heart was so happy again. Because I did just too many. Good Life Chermside, shout out, walking in there on a 5, 4:45. Sad
The days. But you have to start there, and I think
That's
you
where you
have to
start.
experience it. And that's why I literally did that, and I would be there on Saturdays working until 2 p.m. and then I'd go to the coffee shop and I'd sit there and I'd write client emails and notes and follow-ups, and that's why I can be where I am now, to be I only need 34 people. And then the other shit is
Teaches
my
you
time
so
or
much.
yeah.
Any new coach that comes into me or gets in contact with me, it's I'm doing this course, what's your advice? I'm like, go to a Good Life,
Work your fucking ass
work
off.
your ass off, and go compete with 30 other trainers at one time.
Yeah.
If you can survive there for more than 12 months,
Do your apprenticeship.
yeah, literally.
Yeah.
I was the longest standing coach after 2 years.
Damn.
Well, one of the longest standing coaches after years. There was only 2 other people before me.
That's very common though.
It's
and
so
because
common.
there's so much turnover, but because
crazy.
there's no real support of PTs, and to the respect of the PT managers and whatnot, they do their best, but they were just a coach as well. They don't have they didn't go to business school. They don't and that's why, I have a business coach. I did an exercise degree. I don't fucking know how to run a business, but here I am. So better get someone who knows what they're doing so I don't fuck it up.
Yeah, if you don't know how to business, it doesn't matter how good you are as a coach.
Exactly, yeah.
You ain't going to last.
Yeah.
It's just so funny though, because I remember I was listening to a podcast this week. Surprisingly not ours. I know. It's all right.
This must be the second best one.
Yeah, it must be the second best podcast out there. But no, we're the second best grass-fed steak.
Oh, yeah. But that's in all items in the world. Just in podcasts.
You-
Ed Cohen said we're second best
Thing
grass-fed
in his
steak.
day.
So,
No big
know
deal.
what?
Ed Cohn, shut up. Yep.
yeah, we
It's our
made it.
boy.
I can
That's
die
fucking solid.
now. Yeah, exactly.
That's gone on shit.
But nobody talks, or if you go to a Good Life, there's no PT just walking the floor now. Everyone's do you post much on social media? Did you do this? I'm like,
I'm so glad I'm out of that now.
oh man, I didn't fucking do any of that when for the first 6 months, I walked the floor, I cleaned equipment, I loaded plates for other people. Like, I just spoke to people.
100, but that's what you have to do. Like, especially, I was so young. Like, when I went into Go Health, which is now Good Life, for the first time, I was the youngest and most qualified on paper in the facility.
How old are you?
I'm 27 now.
Oh, you're my age.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like I went in there at 22 and that was it was a very established club and they had some very long-standing trainers and whatnot. But the day that I walked in, yeah, I was youngest and I was like, yeah, I got this for and then I just got a big slap in the face pretty quick. But I also, yeah, exactly, just walked the floor, like talked to everyone, make sure everyone knew my name, knew who I was, and I was just there to serve them. Like literally, like we're in the service industry, you're there to serve people. If you think your post of your own fucking bicep flex is serving someone, you probably need a good hard look at yourself.
Just going to continue on from that. It's actually serving your ego. Check your ego. Please. Nobody cares about your front double bicep.
No, they
Unless
don't.
you're Phil fucking Heath. Then you have a right to fucking front double bicep. FYI. That's another rant.
Personal.
Oh, it's just like... I like bodybuilding. I really...
Look, you did the look in your eyes then was just like if you would turn gay, it would be for him.
Look,
That-
Phil Heath... Yeah, 100%. Actually, I did just watch the Ronnie Coleman documentary again the other day. And super sad. But man, he was a fucking animal. Like that, like anyone? No? Cool.
Haven't seen it.
I've seen it.
You've seen it? Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
Ronnie was
amazing.
broken as fuck.
He's broken as fuck now. But
I love how
That's
he
'cause
didn't,
he pushed
He didn't
himself.
really care though.
yeah, I love it because he's like...
He owned it.
The only regret I have is I didn't squat 800 pounds for 5.
I didn't get the next rep.
Yeah,
that was the regret.
Yeah,
I
he's
didn't
like,
get the next rep after I
got 2.
broke.
I got 2. I feel like I could have got 5. Actually, you know what my favourite part of that documentary is, and this is complete off topic, is when he talks about working at Domino's and gets free pizza, and then he got sick of eating pizza, so he went to Hungry Jack's next door and swapped burgers for pizza.
He's a
Fucking-
smart man.
He's a pioneer. Anyways, completely off topic. A little bit on topic because we spoke about Phil Heath. Front double biceps, that's how we got there. I was like, how did we get there?
So how do you train yourself now? What do you do for yourself?
Well, like I mentioned before, so thanks, Rona, can't do calisthenics or rock climbing at the moment, but can still lift heavy things.
You got really into the rock climbing too.
Yeah, like surprisingly did not think I would be one of those people, like I was like, I'm not a climber, like climbers aren't cool. But I'm like full about it.
Climbers like cool.
Well, it's fucking hard when you want to be big and strong and then you're like, oh, just lift my body up a wall, and it's like they're completely in opposition.
And then classic cues, like, I'm going to do them both.
Yeah, and then I'm like, and I'm also going to do fucking muscle ups because
You know
why
what?
not?
Fuck my shoulders. Don't worry about it.
Actually, haven't had an issue.
There's a secret. Muscle ups or rock climbing.
I mean, see, again, I don't think it's the exercise. I think it's the shit I do around that. So I still lift weights.
Oh,
'Cause
shit.
Obviously.
If you didn't, you
We
wouldn't be
wouldn't
here.
be
Yeah.
Yeah, but like,
You're lucky we let you in with the no coffee aspect.
Yeah. Yeah, true.
So
She says she has 2 weeks, so that was enough.
yeah, but see, so he has 2 shots in one, and he classifies it at 1. So you're only having 1 coffee.
Yeah, that's a good point.
one Johnny coffee.
Yeah.
Oh, 1 Johnny
week.
coffee.
Per week.
Actually, where you know what? You know.
I reckon you should challenge yourself. 7 days, nothing.
Oh, that would
No
hurt.
stims.
That would hurt. I don't want headaches.
I don't want to see him without stims. There's a bloke.
I need a week off from the world.
The bloke who just rocked up super early for this podcast.
Pete.
Yeah.
Whoop.
So he invented the flat white. You need to talk to him, and you need to get on this coffee train. So
Look, I'm dabbling. Just let me. Maybe in a couple of years I'll be.
do you
there.
dabble in strength training? No, you go full head in. Just dive in. Just dive in. We'll catch you with shots of
I
coffee.
was gonna say, like physically catch me, I'm okay with, but I don't think that's what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
no, it's
So-
like we will put an IV of just straight coffee into you. That way you don't have to taste it.
Well, that's true. There's
Exactly,
a bonus.
yeah. There, see?
I'm not letting you and a needle near me,
Nah.
though.
And pre-trainer.
Yeah, you want to talk about You want to talk about caffeine? I've watched him take. Okay, so it was a fucking pre-workout powder. But you know how pre-workout goes clumpy?
Don't take pre-workout.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I don't blame.
Not yet, anyway.
He took 10 clumps of pre-workout. Not
Couple clumps,
scoops, because
clump.
it had gone clumpy. So this was like...
So they're like
it was
concentrated.
a concentrated clump
That's the good stuff.
plus pre-workout. No, plus...
That was the pre-workout.
That was a pre-workout. Plus...
Mix it with Red Bull.
Red Bull. Mix it with Red Bull. Plus coffee on the day.
Yeah, it's comp day though.
Do you like get regular checks at the doctors to make sure your bloods are all good?
They're all good.
Okay.
We're cooking nicely.
Okay.
We'll just quickly look over to Bob. Does he sleep after comps?
No, I don't sleep. No, too wide. You just tuck yourself in with a movie and some bread. Off you go.
Some bread.
Yeah, you want simple flavours. So you just have like a loaf of bread.
Just by
And
itself.
literally, it
Yeah.
would be a loaf. He would have a whole
Yeah.
loaf.
Like
Because
just...
you don't feel
My
like
ex
flavour.
used to eat just half a loaf to a loaf of bread
Yeah,
a day.
I mean,
and
like
still
I used to eat a loaf of like
So
raisin
you
toast
get
a
a
day.
bottle of water,
I know what you're
loaf
saying.
of bread, and a movie. Maybe two
He's like,
or
I
three.
understand you. I disagree.
And you just work through it.
Just like
ride the
not
roller
even
coaster.
toast, butter,
Nah, just ride that roller coaster. Maybe some
I'm
honey.
not about it either.
honey.
Yeah.
Honey's good.
I'm not a big fan.
That was my go-to when I was in Europe. Just like a baguette and some honey, and just dip it in on the train.
Actually, doesn't sound too bad. That doesn't sound too bad. But just plain white Australian bread? Fuck no.
Dude, hey, it's all right. Easy.
Anyway.
White bread's the best.
He's like, I just
Can't
squatted
eat it.
heavy shit. Don't fucking judge me.
Exactly
Can't
right.
eat white bread, bruh.
Oh, yeah, I know. That's maybe
I gotta
that's
eat
why.
my special bread.
Yeah,
It
you-
cost me $6 a loaf. I'm like, this is bullshit. And then, you know how you get like, because you have to go to Baker's Delight and they give you like rewards cards, so you get a free loaf after like every 6 purchases or whatever. My bread's so special.
It's not on the
I can't even fucking claim it. Like, so why am I even doing this?
But you can give me your white bread on your 6th free one.
Such
It's like $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, but actually, if you go to like Woolworths or Coles and you get that 95-cent bread, that big white loaf, 95 cents.
That is only for snacks.
Yeah, but like it is the sweetest tasting bread you'll ever have.
So you have it with fairy bread. That's what it's for.
Oh, very bread.
Yeah, fuck. I haven't had fairy bread in a long time.
How good.
You just...
I feel like next podcast,
You
bring
can't
in
have
some
fairy bread. Can you have fairy bread?
No, I can't eat anything. Bloody hell. Like, it's so shit. Anyways,
Back
before
to
we
topic.
wrap up,
Yeah.
we're going to hit you with the 10 most important questions
Yeah.
you'll ever hear in your life or be asked.
Okay.
Yep. And
I
you got
actually-
it first thing that pops in your head.
First thing,
Oh god.
Are you ready?
This could be scary. Yeah.
this is scary. I'm scared
Where
for you.
would you like to travel to explore?
Southeast Asia.
Anywhere particular?
I was meant to go to Thailand and Philippines this year, so hopefully
Next
sometime.
year.
Maybe next year, if we're lucky.
If you could travel to Mars, but you can't come home, would you still go?
No.
Can you dance?
I mean, I like to dance. Can I dance? Is like.
Have you got a go-to move?
I used to have a couple.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, what are they?
Oh, it's complex. I'd have to.
We have time.
we could go forever.
What is 12 times 12?
144. I am going to say I did listen to this on the podcast, but I did answer it before Jordan Shallow in that podcast in my head, and I was like, why did you use theory? Like I'm not good at math, but I do know what 12 times
It's
12
okay.
is.
He has the answer written down.
Yeah, so
He didn't know either.
it was Killian that got it wrong too, wasn't he?
Yeah, Killian said 24. He just added them together.
It was like 12 times 24.
He thought it was a hot buzzer.
Yeah, I was like, you want to take that again?
He was pretty convinced about it being right too.
I don't. And he's a very intelligent dude.
He probably just misheard the question.
Yeah, we did do it via Zoom.
We'll give him that. What sport or activity do you wish you could do or would you do that you haven't done before?
Maybe like, what's that one like where they ski off the slope like the extreme and then flips and shit?
Aerial skiing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Oh, that sounds cool.
That'd be
I
sick.
mean, like I'd probably axe myself and end up a quadriplegic, but
It's just like we had Bob. Oh well, no, Killian.
He did bobsled.
that's fucking cool.
I know, right?
As in, he literally did that, or that was his answer?
no, he literally did that.
Right.
He
I
literally
think his
did it.
answer was baseball.
Yeah, he wanted to baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck his shoulders.
Now, you're given an elephant for the next 24 hours. What are you going to do with it?
Where am I?
Wherever you want to be.
Do you have an
Like
elephant?
right now, I have an elephant outside, and I need it returned at 3:07 tomorrow. What are you
What am
going
I
to do?
doing with it? I don't know, just take it home, hang out.
Yeah.
But I got a backyard that would suit. Like, we'll just have some friends over.
Sick. Describe your life in one word.
Oh.
Fuck. I don't know if fuck is.
Wow. Okay,
Okay.
cool. There it is.
not.
Are we locking that one in?
No, I'll say progressive.
Cool.
I like fuck better.
Favorite sporting memory of yourself?
I mean, it probably wasn't the time I was hit by a car and couldn't go to nationals.
What?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that'd be a
What
favorite.
nationals?
So it was the first time that I got invited down to try out for the Australian team for volleyball.
The car got in the way.
Yeah. Literally.
Damn.
No, so volleyball was my sport, and I played that competitively for like 9 years. But I was a middle blocker, so I was like the tall one in the middle.
Cool.
But I just remember this one time I made this like epic dive save, and like generally like it's known that the middle blockers are like Gumby and can't like play defense. I just made this fucking epic save like into the stands and like almost axed myself, and I think we still like got it back over and won the point.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
How long's a piece of string?
Fuck, who cares?
Now, your phone there. What is the last piece of music you listened to?
We all know this fucking answer.
Tay Tay. Shout out Tay Tay.
It might not have
Imagine if
been.
it's not.
Do you listen to anything other than Tay?
Oh no, it was Taylor Swift. False God by Taylor Swift. It's still midway through. Yeah.
I don't think I've ever heard that. I'm not like, and I like Tay Tay.
It's off her newest album.
I haven't listened to that.
You call yourself a fan?
I'm a fan. Like, I have squatted over 200 kilos to Taylor playing in my ears.
That's literally like, I literally put her album on, and that's about how long it takes me to do my workout, like from start to finish. People are like, how do you listen
I
to
had this one client, and I don't know how to say this politically correct, so whatever. But he gay client, and one day we're doing some testing, and he just looks at me. He's like, "You need to put Tay Tay on." I'm like,
We need to go there.
I was like, mate, if that's where we need to go, that's where we go. And we had Taylor Swift, and I want to say, what's the song where it's like, "You've got that daydream"?
Style.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah, that's the one. That one was playing. He squatted that fucking weight. I don't remember what it was, but I just watched it, and it was the quickest squat he had ever done. Shout out to Taylor Swift, improving performance.
Yes.
Okay, now where can people find you?
I think I mentioned this before. So,
yeah, you did.
Swift Movement Academy. Google it, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. It's all under the same shit. Make
We'll
it
put it in
simple.
the show notes. It's just something we got to say. It's so weird. It's so weird because I'm like, I'm going to put it in the show notes. All people need to do is just scroll down. I wonder how many people scroll down. Anyways, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
Loved having you on. Definitely get you back on and talk more shit. More shit about coffee and Taylor.
We could do a Tay Tay podcast.
We could do a whole episode on Taylor Swift.
Look,
Yeah.
I don't know how popular it would be with your audience.
I don't think you understand.
I got a few humans that'd be across that.
I have.
Okay.
I am a human across
Look,
that.
I'm down. I have a lot of background info.
Oh.
I've done my research. Let's just say that.
Really? Like, you know everything, don't you?
I mean, I wouldn't say I know everything. Like, I don't know what she's doing right now, but like,
Oh, yeah, wait.
I don't know what you did yesterday.
Just let me check.
because I've been here for the last 2 hours. But prior to that, I knew it. I'm just kidding.
No, you're not. Easy. We will put everything in the show notes. Thank you so much for your time. Coaches, clinicians, allied health professionals, jump on the Swift Coaches Academy program. Send a message to Zenia, slide into her DMs. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh, we clap.
We all clap.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
We were supposed to. 3, 2, 1.
We didn't do one at the start.
Yeah, but
We fucked it.
we did fuck it a little bit.
Doesn't count.
We don't have, that, as I said, there's no structure to this. It just happens.